Now that we've properly started our base and put together bunches and bunches of personal infrastructure here on the server, I think it's time to introduce a new area of the server. If you recall, we properly kicked off SpoonieCraft Season 1 here in the center of a cherry donut, but this is not actually World Spawn. World Spawn is right over this way, past the hill, down the river a little ways, and right over here. This village area is actually the world spawn of the server here, and as you can see, we've got some building going on here. Miriam has designed a beautiful central build for our world spawn here, and we'll definitely help get it built up here, but also we've decided that this area is going to also be our shopping district. So what I'm envisioning for the shopping district is we're going to cross the river and do some building alongside this hill, as well as utilizing this larger open space for some of the bigger stores. Okay, so this is where the path coming down from spawn kind of ends, which means we probably want to build our little bridge across right here. So the walking area of our bridge, let's make it slabs. All right, so we want to stick the actual pillar of the bridge, probably not in the center of the river, probably on either side of the river. So obviously, like any self-respecting bridge builders, we want to include some arches in this. Now, I am famously bad at building actual structures in the game. I am much, much better at interiors and organic shapes and things like that. So this is definitely going to be a little bit of an exercise for me. What if we replaced these bits with lodestones? Yeah, and then we'll probably put like a light on the inside. Let's step back and take a look at that design really quick. Yeah, so then what I'm envisioning is at the center points, we add that. I think shape-wise, this is great. Color-wise, I feel like we could actually add a bit of color to the railings. Miriam is using a lot of copper in this spawn build, and I think using some like well-aged copper might be a good choice for us to tie the spawn feel together. Then, if we yoink this and add copper there as well instead. All right, we need to ground these pillars in the terrain a little bit better. I wonder if we could just even put the stairs there and call it a day. I like that. That grounds it without taking away too much of the strikingness of the pillar. And I don't mind the double pillar. I think we will still want, like, this in here. Okay, so the last thing that I'm kind of sitting here wondering on the bridge is if I can add a little bit of height variance to the middle sections at all. Because right now we're at a really, really flat line across. And I want to play with the shape of the profile of this bridge a little bit more. Can I get away with like building a little extra height here? I would have to change the patterns of this. Let's take a look. Ooh, yeah, I actually really like the shapes that makes, and it keeps it more symmetrical, and it's just nice. Okay, cool. We will run with that on both sides. That's looking pretty solid. I like this bridge. Yeah, and this should connect up to the path that comes down from the World Spawn building. Beautiful. Okay, so what we want to do in this area is we want to kind of wind a pathway along. I'm envisioning tucking a couple of market stalls in here. So this is my suggestion for like some small shops or starter shops, things like that. because let's be honest, the server operates on a pretty communist system. But it's still fun to have a shopping area in a server, and little market stalls are a great way to just kind of integrate a little bit of that into what we're doing. So let's put the first one here, and we're gonna like anchor the top corner maybe to this. So we get this shape with a little bit of drape, and then we go fill in the middle with acacia. And we'll let it sag a little bit more as it gets towards the middle. This needs to go just a little bit wider because right now we have this awkward curve that in actual fabric couldn't exist unless it anchored more like over here. So let's move that just a little bit. Okay, yeah, that looks like a much more natural like fabric drape. Yeah, this is really cute. So let's dig out just a little bit of the hill. Burrow into it a little bit, if you will. This first shop is just going to have a couple of things in it. So the rest of it is going to be decoration. And I think I want to make the floor like just terracotta, I think. And I'm curious if I'm going to prefer normal terracotta or maybe some brown terracotta. I kind of think I might prefer the brown. That's my guess. We'll mix in just a little bit of color staining here in the back. This color is perfect because what we're going to sell here, and therefore also place around and decorate, is the 1.20 flowers. The torch flowers and the pitcher pods, all the things that you have to go searching for. And actually what we'll do there is we will place just a little mini sniffer egg because I'm gonna go ahead and also sell pairs of the eggs just in case somebody really wants to buy them. I don't think they will, especially if I'm selling the torch flower seeds and they can just go breed them up with the community ones anyways, but you know, might as well toss it in there. Yeah, that looks cute. I like having those lights like that. Also, I was considering, should I age these down at all? I like that they tie into the rest of the build. They're a little dustier like that. So our next shop is a frog light shop. And something I want to do is I want to have just like a couple of frogs around. We can at least grow up a frog here. Hi, buddy. Don't go hopping out of that puddle now. I like the drape on that. I like that the one side is a little bit higher than the other, but the curve is still quite similar to this, but they're still just different enough that it doesn't like freak your eye out or anything. Oh, hey, there's our frog friend. Hi, buddy. You're so cute. Woo! Boing, he says. Be careful with those boings. And he just sits outside the shop and greets everybody. Just like that. He has pretty limited range of movement because of how far down we put the lead. But he's still wandering around a little bit. I could totally envision building a little path and putting a third stall up there. That's kind of the vision that I have in my brain now. But for now, we'll slap an ender chest there, so it's nice and accessible from both shops. The next order of business is going to be working on... Oop, did not mean that. The next order of business is going to be working on the rest of the infrastructure in this area. So a path coming from the bridge and a dock along the riverfront, things like that. So I have some thoughts and some plans for a boardwalk dock area along here. And what I think I'm going to do, because I don't know about you, I am ready for some turn my brain off, put my head down, just chill out building time. I am going to time-lapse working on just all of this waterfront area and also probably putting in the path from the spawn building down. Here's your SpoonieCraft time-lapse of the day. Let's hit it. Well. I popped into my house to grab things and drop things off and stuff. And look who showed up! It is here. We finally have the tiny takeover update on the server. Oh, it is a pain in the butt to update to this version. A lot of mods are still not updated or have really, really weird interaction with each other. I keep crashing at random times because of apparently one mod doesn't like another. Like right now, Voxy hates Simply No Shading, so we have no Voxy. But what we do have is we have tiny baby chickens. My take on this update is not everyone's favorite take, but I hate most of the new baby textures. Like, they took away all of their soul and all of their personality, mostly by taking away the whites of their eyes. They turned them into soulless little plushyable babies, and it feels very much like a little bit more of a cash grab than anything. However, I do really like turning the chicks into little yellow fluff balls. This is definitely my favorite baby of the entire update, and they have a fun hitbox. Unfortunately, our tiny baby turtles were also so terribly destroyed in this update. Now, we've done a good bit of work here in the spawn and shopping district area. As you can see, we have a beautiful dock area with a little boardwalk, and we've got a few bits of details in here. Most importantly and notably, we have a lovely little houseboat or a narrow boat, whatever you happen to call it. I'm a big fan. I realized in looking at different pieces of inspiration, a lot of these houseboats, they tend to have a lot of like plant life on them, living roofs, plants on the deck, stuff like that. And I love that. In Alaska, we tend to put like pots of flowers on everything in the summer. So that feels very near and dear to my heart and very close to home. There's a lot of little details that I want to stuff in here, but I think what I'm going to do first is we're going to, one, obviously grow up a baby sniffer to have a baby sniffer hanging around this stall. But then I do want to get some creaking bits together and make this next marketplace stall as well. Let's just stuff a little that there and put that there. That is one thing that I do think that people would have loved to see in this update is some way to keep the sniffer eggs from hatching. They're such a cool block. They would be so cool to decorate with if you could stop them from hatching. I've even tried to decorate with them in like a creative world and turned like random ticks off and such, and they still hatch. I would love to be able to decorate with them properly. And while we wait for this guy to hatch, I think I want to head out to my little patch of pale oak forest and build a flower farm over there. I think we can toss that together pretty quickly. I don't remember what direction is what with my mountain. Let's fly around really quick. Okay, yeah, so this is the meadow, which means that spawn is that way. Not having Voxy really makes this rough. And here is the little patch that I'm going to build the flower farm in. I'm probably going to actually pull this patch of forest down entirely and just kind of let the forest blend into the jungle without this little bit here. A particularly unpopular opinion that I have about this update is that I really, 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 really hate the bunnies. They destroyed their personality. They made them so ugly. Like, they're so ugly. And the animations kind of suck. I was really hoping that I would enjoy the animations. No, the animations are really bad. They're so janky. And the rabbits have gone from cute and charming to fattened up for slaughter. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. I know people raise rabbits for meat, but that's not what I was anticipating my Minecraft rabbits to feel like, you know? Anyways, let's go ahead and build this flower farm really quick. It's going to be a pretty standard flower farm, so let's just take a quick little look at how those usually work. So flower farms are usually built off of the basic principle that if you bone meal the ground in an area that grows flowers, it will grow more. So the easiest and simplest way to automate this to a degree is by setting up a timer and attaching a dispenser for bone meal, and then pistons to shift the ground back and forth to break the flowers. This is still super basic and doesn't have a collection system or anything like that. I definitely have thoughts on a more refined flower farm in the future, but for now this should get us plenty of flowers for our purposes. Okay. After 9 stacks of bone meal, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and almost a half stacks of eye blossoms. Speaking of flowers, and therefore also dyes and such, Koffi is working on making the central area of the gaming district, you know, nice and welcoming, and he was asking us about dyes, and I have so many things with which to make dyes. So let's make Koffi a little care package of dyes. How about that? We've got 2 stacks of yellow and 2 stacks of red, which actually he doesn't need. Great. Doink, doink. And we'll grab 2 stacks of orange. And then 2 stacks of magenta. And 2 stacks of light blue. And 2 stacks of lime. And here's a shulker with a stack of black dye as well, just for the coffee. Okay, we've gathered all our creaking goodies. I did some just late night resin farming last night, and we've now got a little tent built over here as well. I wish it was a little bit more centered with these two, but for the most part, we're not even looking at it from that angle, and it layers really, really nicely with those tents from these angles down here. So yeah, I think that'll work. We also have this little guy here. Let's make sure we give you a golden dandelion, and you will never grow up. You will just be an adorable little guy wandering around with all of our sniffer goodies. We really should tie you down, though. Let's reprise my first build stone, which happened over in my single player world. We'll put just a little blinky creaky eye back in here. And of course, to pack the full punch, we will need a little bit of redstone in there to make it actually blinky. But first, let's clear up my inventory by actually putting inventory in this shop. Is that a pillager that I just... Oh my gosh, they're so close. Oh my gosh, there's a pillager stuck in that boat. Oh my gosh, we can use him. We can use him. Okay, and then we slap a little bit of the moss carpet around here for just a little bit of floor and wall texture. And then we make this build stone happen. So, what we need is we'll send a couple of signals into these blocks. And then we need a nice, slow timer so that this guy just blinks occasionally. Or we could even do, a randomized timer. Let's see, what's my favorite randomized, easy, small space timer? I think it's gonna be One that I have to go grab a couple things for. Okay, so I think the timer that I'm going to use is going to be a redstone ore timer. So if we place an armor stand on top of this redstone ore, basically, an entity standing on redstone ore is going to make the block light up, have some light level, color, etc. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that? So the redstone block, it stopped glowing, and it's a randomized amount of ticks that it takes to stop glowing. So when it stops glowing, it immediately gets re-triggered by the armor stand, but also the observer triggers the blink. I think that is probably going to be a good timer for us. That's a good amount of time. I think we need the actual blink to be a little bit slower. So we yoink in here and turn that time up. Oh yeah, that's a good blink. So now we have our shops stocked and some basic pricing done. However, here's the thing. We're on a server of disabled people, and Min has had to back off of the server and Minecraft in general, and so is not active here at the moment, but Min is our blind server member. And we've learned a lot about visual accessibility. And so one of the things we want to include in our shopping district is ways to get prices without having to sit and try to read item labels. Since we have an audio plugin on this server that allows us to put custom audio on different things, we're gonna go ahead and make just some nice little audio players that people can push a button in the shop and get the price read out to them for the chest that it's in front of. The easiest way to do this is definitely going to be if we have the mod where we can put custom sounds on mob heads or player heads and play them with a note block. I'm not sure if we actually have that particular version of the audio plugin, though. Successfully updated item. Okay. It does work on the player heads. Oh, that's amazing. If you haven't been in my streams, this is the stream music that plays at the beginning and end and middle of my streams whenever we're in like a static stream starting type page. So this is going to make it really super duper easy for us to just stick a little piece of custom audio on a note block and have it triggered. So in the future, I'm probably going to want to make a cute little recording studio for people on the server to do this kind of project in. But for now, I'm going to sit in the boat with this guy and let him break his bow because I think he would be a great addition to our shopping area here. So I'm going to go record a few voice lines and I will be right back. Alrighty. I am now armed with many customized silverfish heads, and we can run through and hopefully install these without too much issue. I'm gonna put that there, and we put that there. Let's test it. Pitcher pods. 8 seeds for a diamond. That's a little bit of a problem, but we can fix that. We can use slabs or something else. But that is beautiful. Now, the next problem is that we don't want these triggering each other. I can't put another redstone dust there and make them dots. I wish you could do that. That would be really nice, actually. Pitcher pods. 8 seeds for a diamond. Okay, I think we found our solution. So, we have this one. Pitcher pods. 8 diamonds for a diamond. Ooh, this might work. This might work. So, pitcher pod. We power this. The rail powers. Observer powers this little T flip-flop. And we get our sound. But then, But then, if we get a different type of rail, can we actually power these? These don't get powered. They create power. What we need is the activator rails. Okay, so if we put an activator rail on the next one, that won't get powered by the powered rail being powered, whether or not they line up with each other. Okay, let's test this. So we should be able to push this button.
Pitcher pods.
Only trigger that
8
one.
seeds for a diamond.
Perfect, beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. All right, and then we can just put a powered rail on this one. And now we should finally be able to press each one and only get the audio for the button we press.
Sniffer eggs. 1 diamond per pair.
Look at that, we got sniffer eggs. And
Torch flower seeds. 8 seeds for a diamond.
awesome, we did it, we figured it out. We figured out the redstone puzzle. Oh boy. And now we'll just go through and install one of these for each of our different items.
Resin bricks. 1 diamond for 32.
Awesome sauce. We officially have all of our prices with audio versions. Even though we don't have someone on the server at the moment who needs this particular piece of accessibility, we basically wanted to play around with what a good best practice would look like for making prices accessible in shops. So this was a fun one for the tech people to kind of put our heads together and think about what this could look like. Min has also mentioned as a lower tech option that even putting glow ink on signs helps a lot with making those visible. So that's a much easier low tech option that we could utilize, but we just wanted to make it a habit here on the server, even in our first season, to just be thinking about details like that. Also, you might notice that I'm wearing diamond boots. Yeah, we had a moment on stream the other day. I kind of lost a bunch of stuff. It's totally fine. It was kind of hilarious. Let me show you. I don't know. Ah!
Oh no! I did it bad!
Well,
I did it bad! Ah!
that's a you problem. I can't help you with that because then it's my problem too. They're really mad at you, D.
They're really mad.
I can hear them.
Yeah, everywhere. Okay.
Watch out! Watch out! Well, I guess this is your life.
This is my life now, yep.
No!
Okay, I am leaving. I'm on 1.5 hearts. We're going elsewhere.
I'm blocked in here. I choose. And I'm taking care of that blaze. I'm helping.
I'm gonna die.
Don't do that.
Here we go. I found the spot. And I'm gonna ah!
Run!
No!
No! Whoa! Big?
Important big. Aspen.
What?
You know how I died? A couple weeks ago.
Once or twice?
In the nether with the wither skeletons. So I was going back and cutting up the flashback recording for like putting in my video because big deal. I lost stuff. Aspen, I know what happened to the stuff. I saw what happened to the stuff.
What happened to the stuff?
There's a piglin wearing the stuff. The extra wither skeleton skull and my boots. There's a piglin wearing them.
Yeah,
we gotta go find him. We gotta go find him.
You wanna fight all the piglins?
No.
You're like ready.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. We don't have to fight all of them. We just have to go in and find the guy and yeah, I have an ender chest. Of course I do. What do you think I am?
Well, okay. I wasn't just going to say put down your ender chest. Give it to me. The only things I care about in my inventory right now are my axe and my wings. Everything else is replaceable.
Fair enough.
If I die, those are the only things you have to get back.
Cool. I have a new axe, but I really want my old one back because my old one was netherite. Let's see. Whoa! Oh, that was scary. So where did I actually die? There's like the junk that I dropped. There's where I actually died. And the guy picked it up and then just like headed off. He like picked the stuff and booked it. Is there any chance he's down in a lava lake?
Would they survive that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they don't burn.
I mean, if you guard me, I'll go dissociate.
I am dissociating actually. Already. Whoa!
Ah!
That's at you,
Oh!
isn't it? Okay.
Ah!
Oh,
Ah!
that's scary.
That
This
was
is-
clutch.
This is yes, I'm so
possibly
proud of you. This is why I
Coolest
went
thing I've ever done.
AFK in the crack. I found him! I found him!
You found him! Okay, I'm coming to you. I'm coming. Oh,
Okay,
there's a
where is
skeleton
this guy?
after
There
you,
he
by
is.
the way.
Yep. Thank you.
Got
I think we're ready. Wait, where did he go? He walked away.
Don't you want... I'm making stairs.
Yes.
You
That's
do
a
not
good
want to
idea.
get trapped in here.
No, I don't.
See? Forward thinking.
Forward thinking, excellent. This is why I brought you along. Though hopefully there aren't many guys here, but ugh, he does have. There we go. It worked out.
One hit.
Look at that!
Yay!
And the boots back. They didn't actually burn. Okay. Fun fact: they did actually sit in the fire. So like apparently they don't burn in
netherite.
fire either. Yeah, because they're netherite.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I got all my netherite stuff back! Yay!
Yay!
You wanna see the cool thing I did?
Oh, this is so cool. We got some little stalls.
Yeah. And press the button. Pitcher pods. 8 seeds for a diamond.
Nice.
And then there's pitcher pods in there.
Sniffer eggs. 1 diamond per pair.
This is my favorite one.
Up here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Because they're looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Oh, that was so perfect! That was perfect timing! Oh my gosh! Oh, that makes me so happy! It was so perfect!
That was so cool! Oh, I was not expecting it to move! That's so cool!
Yeah, I have a little bit more for this too, but then my plans currently will be finished. Now, I think the last thing I want to do over here before we call this little corner of the shopping district done for now is I want to make a little spot to store this guy. So, I'm sure lots of harbors around the world, but in my experience, the ones in Alaska, there's lots of fish cleaning stations around, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this guy a little hut thing and turn it into a little fish cleaning station and call it a day. Okay, so the spot that I want to go ahead and fill in as the fish processing station is this area. So if we go like here and oop. So this is like, okay, so we have these posts and then if this is our floor and you walk up to the counter and can do your fish filleting here, then we give it just a little bit of an awning. Let's see how that looks. It looks okay. I want it to feel a little bit more connected though. What about that? Actually, that does look better. Yeah, it gives it a little bit more of a semblance of being connected to the posts. Okay, we'll go with that then. All right, the magic of this fish flaying stand area thing is going to have to end up being armor stands. And of course, our fun little friend there. And I'm sure we've all heard this by now, that chicks have incredibly tiny hitboxes. And we can lead them, which means we can do some creative things with leads and put them in a much smaller space than when people have decorated with leads before. I first saw this from Mistappear on YouTube. I will link it down in the description. I pointed in real life, made a little downwards pointing finger right at my keyboard, and you all could not see that, so it was worthless. But nevertheless, I will be linking it down in the description. And let's see if we can't get a teeny tiny... Why are they breaking in my face? There we go. Okay. Then we're gonna golden dandelion and go bam. Oh wait, no. We're gonna lead. Nope. Scoot your little butt back in there and go bam. There we go. And then we're gonna take our lead down here. And I'm gonna attach it to this fence post. Just for a little extra visualness. Alternatively, we could like cross them. Ooh, I like that. I like something like that. Maybe we go one lower. Yeah, we could put another barrier in there. In the hole you go, little one. There you go. Beautiful. Okay, so we have 2 chicks in there. And if we cross them like that, then we can go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Oh yeah, that looks so cool. I love that. It's such a subtle little piece of detailing, but it also gets us like this proper curve and all of those good things. I really like this, and I really like this in a fishing shack especially. It fits the vibe really well. At this point, we want to get this guy in here. Probably also do that with leads. Sorry, bud. Did not mean to hit you there. But we got you into the right spot. And he can barely see over the counter because he's a cutie patootie. There you go. Hello, Fisherman Fred. Maybe we should give him stairs too. No, that would be bad because then he could jump over. So now it's time to really start putting in the details of these docks. There are some things like just polishing some spots off, adding a shelf here or there. I want to make sure that we put a little ladder going down into the water here that people can climb up and down to get in and out of the water if needed. Look at that. I think having a little dock worker friend somewhere around here would be good. If we could like fix him up over here a little bit, we could do a chest along here potentially and run hoppers a little more discreetly. He does not like this pathfinding. All right, I want to put just like fish and fishy things around here. I'm gonna go yoink some things from my starter base fishing dock. So let's just like slap a couple of things up here on item frames, and that will make life a little bit easier on us. Now it's time to toss these armor stands in here. You know what I'm gonna do real quick here? I'm going to swap this out and put a cauldron here at the very end. We're gonna put a bucket of water in there. Because obviously there's a lot of like washing to do when you're filleting fish. There we go. We've got our scales and our fish and our knife. And now let's also add some fish just like hanging along the back wall here. We're gonna make this fish so big. This is gonna be a halibut-sized fish. And look at that. They're caught in our net and everything. Oh, it's beautiful. We definitely want to add a couple of fishing rod racks. These ones won't be like functional, but still important to have. Okay, let's step back from our masterpiece here and take a look. This is delightful. Like, this is genuinely a good place to come over and fish. For those of us on the server who enjoy such things. But then it also kind of gives us a little bit of movement and places to build market stalls. And, like, I could totally see someone putting a little stall right here or something like that. So I hope this little area encourages some people to maybe put a little shop to some degree in here. Now, we don't have an official server economy, and I did price everything at diamonds in here, but I want to figure out some good system to trade things like comedy, things like that. This is an idea that Aspen had fairly early on in server discussions, was having an economy that isn't just based on material goods, as it were, but also things like content and comedy and those types of things, jokes, etc. So if you have ideas for ways to implement that into a shopping system, like do we have a nebulous take a certain amount of stuff and just make sure to drop me a good content moment at some point. Like, is that feels too nebulous. That feels too unspecific. But no matter what our server economy turns into, I can totally envision this area turning into a very cozy little center of server activity. So I'm super excited to see what other people throw in here and add. With that, though, Fisherman Fred and I would like to remind you to hydrate and like the video. And I will see you all in the next one.